If you work with old electronics, old TVs, radios, crystal radios, anything like that, sooner or later you're going to come across something like this or this or this, or you're going to want to use one of these things. And the days for these are long since past. In fact, they're getting harder and harder to find if you want a new one. But the thing that's even harder to find for these are the knobs to turn them. Now, if you've watched some of my past videos, you may have seen me using a plastic tube stuck on a shaft. That doesn't work very well. They slip. They're just hard to use. And so what I've done is I have come up with some knobs that fit some of these more common types. I'll make those available, put them on Thingiverse. But let's do a close-up and see what you need to know before you download and print them. Our first example is something you'll find in old transistor radios like this thing from Radio Shack. In fact, this one is so old that they passed a law at one point where if you sold a transistor radio, it had to have both AM and FM, and this is before that law. So it's a long time ago. But these things are hidden underneath this dial right here. And that dial is hard to find, and especially if you're building your own radios, I mean, you won't even have something to start with. Like some of these can be repaired, put back together, glued back together, but if you're building your own radio, you're not even going to have that, and trying to buy one is almost impossible. Let's put this aside and we'll zoom in here a little bit. And what we've got is I have produced a simple dial, which is just flat plastic with a hole in it that's this shape. You notice that's kind of an odd shape. Yeah, it's not a round. Well, it was round and then they cut two flats on it. So yeah, finding something with that hole is tricky. I also made another one which is more like the transistor radio, which has this shaft. It's kind of a standoff on it. This one again is just a flat piece of plastic. There's no standoff, nothing. It's just looks like a coin with that hole in it, and then it's got a little arrow cut out of it. And so that's it for these. The next one is this air-type capacitor, and it's just a bunch of plates separated by air. And as you can see, it's the shaft here is connected to all these plates, so the shaft is part of the circuit. So having a knob here is really good, and in the past, as I showed you earlier, I had a tube on here. This has a flat cut in it, so it's a 6-point-some millimeter shaft with a flat cut in it, so that makes it a little bit harder to find a knob for it. And what I've done is I have made a white knob. It's hard to see, but it's also got, there's the flat right there. So knob with a pointer. It also has a place if you want for a set screw. So I think that's either 3 or 4 millimeter set screw, and it will fit on here like that and allow you to rotate the thing more easily. And yeah, so it's just a all-around better way to do it. Now here's a warning. These shafts come in different sizes, and I've had some that, you know, this was a loose fit, this was, or a tight fit or whatever. If it's a tight fit, you need to clean it out, especially the sharp edges inside here. You can use a screwdriver or whatever. I've also used a drill bit for like a file to rasp that out of there. Don't shove it on here hard, because these bearings right in there, you will damage them. You'll force this back, the plates will come together. Nothing good will come out of it. So these things are getting expensive and scarce, so you definitely don't want to damage it. Okay, so that's that. You can put it on there and use it as a friction fit, or again, you can use the set screw to hold it in place. Okay, and let's look at another one. Let me push the coarse knob on here a little bit better, like that. And the fine adjust knob, if I can find the hole will line up with the flat, which is right there. And we'll put that on there, push that on. And what will happen is, you'll notice that when I turn the coarse knob, the fine knob moves a lot, and vice versa. When I move the fine knob, the coarse knob doesn't move very far. So this is a two-part knob, and what often happens was this part gets knocked off or lost, and yeah, so you end up without one. Or, like me, you found a TV repair shop that was going out of business, and they literally just gave me a bag of these things for a few bucks. So it was ridiculous. Okay, well that was it. So whether you're repairing old TVs or oscilloscopes or something like that, maybe you're doing some crystal radio work and you need some knobs. Hope you find this useful and interesting in your electronic DIY stuff.